Welcome back, Halo followers. Today, 343 Industries has addressed the shop and the overpriced microtransactions for the first time since really the game has ever been talked about and released. Now, there was that time earlier, a couple weeks ago, where Sketch basically said, look, this is a game, it's a business, it needs to be able to make money somehow. However, the value of what you're buying with real money is just not really there. So, Jerry Hook, head of design at 343, said this on Twitter. We've been monitoring the discussions on the shop, bundles, and pricing closely since launch. Using data and community feedback, we're going to begin rolling out changes to how we package and price items in Halo Infinite. It all starts next week. That would be very soon, January 18th, by the way. The shop experience will vary week to week. We are focused on reducing prices across the board, providing stronger values in our bundles, starting to put individual items outside the bundles, and more. Now, there is one more quote here, but I want to stop right here for a moment. I want to say, listen, the problem with Halo Infinite really isn't the microtransactions at the end of the day. It's not so much the XP progression, because that's kind of a back-end thing. The thing that needs to be focused on the most is bringing content to this game. There was a few maps that were leaked last month, which I have yet to talk about, but basically they're just concept images, just really rough ideas that somehow were data mined and put out in the public. However, this is a huge thing because I think it's a huge turnoff to a lot of people, because last year and the year before that, 343 Industries, that the customization system would not be promised, that the microtransaction system would not be FOMO charged, it would not be pushing players into like buying stuff rather than just playing the game. It won't be a grind fest, and it's all those things. And so ultimately, we're just looking for what we were promised in the very beginning. And I don't think microtransactions don't have a place in Halo. Of course, I would prefer to just buy the game outright $60. The problem isn't that it's just microtransactions present in the game. The problem is the value, right? They want to charge $10, $15, $20 for just colors, for things that were available for free in games, in Halo games 10, 15 years ago, right? Or even by default. So they are using FOMO as a weapon. They have weaponized it up until this point. But what Jerry Hook is talking about here is that it looks like beginning Tuesday, January 18th, 2022, the store will begin to experiment. I think it was actually Jerry Hook himself that said this in the video, where he apologized about how the Tenrai event had items that were not available for free and only available in the store. So he is spearheading, making sure that the store has fair value, and that's ultimately the problem with the store, right? I want to see things way cheaper. I want to see, honestly, armor coatings $5 or less. I don't think it's going to be any more less than $5. I think we're going to see a reduction by maybe 25, 50%. That may be very overly optimistic. However, I would like to see that stuff. And honestly, I wouldn't mind buying some stuff myself. There are some really cool things that I would love to buy. However, 343 is starting to bend on this. It's been about 2 months. They've been very slow on everything else. So if you think that maybe they've been dragging their feet on the specific thing to cash in, to get people that really want to get the coolest armor right away, maybe you might have a point. There are a lot of suspicious reasons to believe that. However, they have been slow fixing things like Big Team Battle and a bunch of other critical things, base things with the game. They released this game right next to Thanksgiving, and then right next to Christmas. It's been hectic. They haven't been able to probably get in the headspace of fixing this game in the right way. But now that we're off onto a new year, the holidays are over, they can actually begin to really focus on developing this game and making it the best it can be. One more tweet here, Jerry Hook says, we will be trying new things throughout the rest of the season so that we can continue to learn and improve for the future. Please keep the feedback coming during this process, and I hope to see you all next week for the Cyber Showdown event. This is awesome. This is great. Most studios don't listen. Most studios don't care. And honestly, I'm glad that they're finally addressing it. And it's kind of funny because it's right when the mob mentality has kind of died down. I was even considering on making a video about how people have just kind of been quiet about microtransactions. Of course, there's still complaints here and there, but really the tantrums, the yelling and the screaming on Reddit and everywhere else has really come to almost a complete halt, right? Not completely, but near it. And everyone's shut up about it, and now 343 is addressing it, because this is something that I've actually been told by 343 themselves, is that it takes a second for them to react to things, right? Whereas, when we yell about something, when we try to make something known, there's a whole pipeline of things that have to be done in order for that to, one, look like they're doing something, and for there actually to be in effect. And here we are a couple months later, as they've always have been a couple months, a delay reaction to everything, and now they are actually tackling it. So again, pricing across the board, providing stronger values in the bundles. And another major thing I want to stress here is putting individual items outside of bundles. This is something that has been frustrating since day one. You want to see, you look at a very small little specific item and you just want that. You don't want to buy a $20 bundle when all you want is the keychain or, the color, stuff like that. So splitting up items from bundles is great. Maybe give players a discount when they do buy the bundles to kind of, this is selling 101, right? So give people a discount if they want to buy bundles. And they honestly, like he says here, confirms here, they need to reduce pricing across the board. How much? That is to be seen, and they're probably going to experiment with it. Maybe it's going to start pretty small. Maybe 15 or 20% is all that's needed to maybe yield a very high result while still making incredibly good profit. Or maybe they're going to start more drastic, maybe a 30 or 40% discount across the board. So maybe we'll start seeing these $20 items be reduced down to $10 items. And we might still see $20 bundles. However, maybe there will be better value in it. Maybe it'll have twice, maybe 3 times more armor coatings and armor and things that players would actually spend $20 for. Again, I'm all for supporting 343, and I'm okay with microtransactions. It just has to be done right. This game lacks content, and it is pretty much broken in a lot of ways. And so I think really this game, more than any other free-to-play game, should be asking for the least amount of things. We could see microtransactions like this and them getting away with it like a year or two down the road after this game has been fixed and has all the base features like infection and forge and so on. And then we can begin to talk about high-priced microtransactions. But right now, I think everything should be dirt cheap because this game is kind of, wobbly. It's unsteady. So they shouldn't be asking much from the individuals and the store, honestly. So bring those prices down, and then as time goes on, begin to really make high valuable microtransactions. And this is just free advice to 343, honestly. If they want to do really well, I want the game to do well, because ultimately them making profit on this game leads to them wanting to invest more in the franchise. Microsoft will lend more money, more capital, more people to work on a better Halo game. And so we can keep getting good stories like Halo Infinite. We can keep getting good combat loops, right? So let our voices be heard, guys. Definitely always going to do that. It looks like I'm very critical, and I am. I want to make sure that, the things that when there are problems that my voice is heard, because I think I have a little bit of one, at least here on YouTube. So anyways, guys, I think it's heard a little bit anyway. But I'll catch you guys in the next one soon, all right? You take care. Peace.